Hello, I am Marisha and welcome to my creative diary. I hope you're having a great day. Get your watercolors ready because we're about to create 2 watercolor background cards. Let's get started. To begin, I'm going to bring in my Distress Reinkers, Squeeze Lemonade, and Saltwater Taffy. I'm going to apply some water to my watercolor cardstock. Using my watercolor brush, I'm going to apply Saltwater Taffy first and then Squeeze Lemonade. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the colors to help them blend together. And then I'm going to pick up Saltwater Taffy again and then just allow the colors to blend together. Then from there, I'm going to bring in my heat tool to dry the first layer. Now, normally I like to layer my colors, but for this first panel, I'm only going to create 1 layer. My favorite thing about watercoloring is adding heat with my heat tool. I love how the watercolors just flow and blend together, and most of all, I love the lines. When I'm done creating my watercolor backgrounds, it's as if the panel has its own personality, and I love it. I allow the watercolors to do their own thing. I try not to have any control over it. I'll just let the chips fall where they may. However the panel turns out, I'm fine with it. So with the second panel, I'm basically repeating the first steps. I added water to my cardstock. I then applied the colors. But this time, I want the background to be a little bit more intense. So I brought in picked raspberry. I'm going to apply the color to the cardstock. And I'm going to add a little bit more water along with Squeeze Lemonade and Saltwater Taffy. I'm going to allow the colors to blend together with some water. And then I'm going to bring in my heat tool, apply some heat. I'm going to allow the watercolors to flow together freely, doing their own thing, creating their own beautiful design. After that, this panel is complete. I want to take a moment to encourage you that if you are wanting to experiment with watercolors, alcohol inks, whatever medium it is, take that leap of faith and try it out. And do not allow whatever you are wanting to try out to intimidate you, to make you feel like it's not going to work. I am not a watercolor expert, but I know that this technique that I use to create my cards, I love it and it works for me. So I want to encourage you to find your own path with whatever you're wanting to create. I know recently I had posted a card, and just to see a few of the comments, it made me sad how some feel like they're not going to be able to create, or they're intimidated by a certain medium and things like that. I want to encourage you and let you know that you can do it. Find your own path, but you have to take that first step to at least try. I'm rooting for you. I believe that you can do it. Next, I'm going to bring back in my first panel along with scrapbook.com's Spanish tile stencil. I'm also going to bring in my cloud whip. I love this stuff, guys. I really do. But we're going to add some texture to our card. So the great thing about this product is it's sealed for protection. When you first open it, it's going to seem a little hard, like, wait, is it dried out? But I promise you it's not. Take a palette knife and add a little bit to your glass mat or whatever surface you're working on. And then just keep working back and forth with your palette knife. And it's going to look like Cool Whip. Yeah. It's going to give that consistency of Cool Whip. I'm going to use my palette knife to apply a little bit on the stencil. I'm not going to cover the whole area, just certain sections of the stencil. Then it's time for the reveal. Look at it. I love it. I'm going to set it aside and allow it to dry. Look at that. Oh, I love this stuff. It is the best. While my first panel is drying, I'm going to bring in 2 sized rectangle dies. I'm going to use the smallest one on the second panel. I'm just trying to figure out what part of this panel do I want to die cut. Then the second rectangle die I'm going to use to die cut a gold mat. Then after I die cut the mat and the panel off camera, I'm then going to bring in scrapbook.com's Layered Roses die set, and I assembled a rose off camera. I also used a sentiment from scrapbook.com's inspired word die set. I used the word love. I'm going to use that sentiment for both cards. I'm then going to adhere the panel to the mat. And then from there, I'm going to add the elements to the panel. The components that were die cut from cardstock, I'm going to adhere them to the panel with adhesive glue. And the one that I die cut out of vellum, I'm going to adhere it with adhesive tape. I'm now going to bring in Liquitex Gold Acrylic Gouache to add a hint of splatter to my panel. To quicken the drying process, I'm going to hit it with my heat tool. I'm then going to use my adhesive glue to adhere the sentiment to the panel. And then from there, I'm going to adhere the panel to the card base. My card base is an A2 standard size top folding card. I did add a couple of pieces of actually 3 layers of cardstock to the back of my panel to add a little bit of dimension to the card. I'm then going to place an acrylic block on top of the card until everything dries completely. To finish up my second card, I'm going to add some dimension to my sentiment by stacking 2 white pieces of cardstock, and then the top layer will be the gold cardstock. I'm then going to position the other elements on my panel. Once I'm happy with the placement, I'm then going to use adhesive glue to adhere the sprigs to the panel. And then I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of the rose to add some dimension. And then I'm going to adhere it to the panel. Finally, I'm going to add some adhesive glue to the back of the sentiment, and then I'm going to adhere that to the panel. I'm then going to add some gold splatter to the panel. I'm then going to adhere it to a gold mat. And then from there, I'm going to adhere the panel to the card base. I want to make sure everything is good and secured on this card, and after that, this card is complete. Here's a look back at our first card completed. An easy watercolor background showing some love to your loved one. And here's the second card. I love the second one better with the rose. Of course, you know I love anything with roses on it. I love the colors too. I love how these cards turned out. Let me know what you think below in the comment section. Thank you for joining me on today. I appreciate you as always for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button and the notification bell. The products that are used in this tutorial are listed and linked below. I'm sending you love and a whole lot of hugs. Until next time, please take care.